Hello there, and welcome to this demo, where I am going to show you how to use Numecent Cloudpager to help keep your Windows 365 images lightweight and in turn optimize and expedite your automated image build process. Before I get into a technical demo, I thought that perhaps maybe you're watching this and you do not automate your image build process today at all. And you may not be familiar with some of the options that are available to you, like Azure Image Builder, Azure Bicep, Terraform, and more. Honestly, we're in a really good place when it comes to options for automation today. I could have used so many different tools for this demo, but in the end, I decided to try a low-code approach by leveraging ARM templates from Azure, Robotic Process Automation using fellow AWS, Citrix, and Microsoft partners Automai, and just a little bit of PowerShell thrown in there too. With that said, let's take a look at how I automated the image build process so I can let a robot do the work of building a fully patched Windows 11 custom image for my Windows 365 Cloud PC users each month. Here you can see Automai Scenario Builder. As I said, I used some PowerShell, which I am having the Automai robot execute for me. The first script is pretty basic. All it is doing is creating a new Azure deployment using an ARM template and parameters JSON files. The beauty of this approach is you just generate the JSONs right from the Azure console, and then it is quick and easy to modify and maintain. Executing this script is the very first action taken by my robot. This will build a Windows 11 virtual machine to the specs that I desire. The robot will then handle the Azure authentication. It will remote to the VM once it is ready, and at that point the robot continues by preparing this image and ensuring all the latest Windows updates are installed, and most importantly, it will install my Cloudpager clients. And that's it really. As I said, I'm trying to keep this image lightweight. I don't want to install a bunch of applications into my image. Doing that could lead to application conflicts, possibly introducing rot and app corruption into the image that can cost hours of remediation effort, and even lead to image bloat, which in Windows 365 can mean providing larger cloud PCs to your users, which can cost money. And even worse, you may end up with many different large images your team then has to manage and support just to work around conflicting applications or maybe licensed software that one group requires but another group should not get. These are old practices, they're inefficient, and using Cloudpager can help you modernize this approach. Cloudpager will dynamically and rapidly deliver the apps my users need while they are using their cloud PCs. If I pivot quickly and just show you my Cloudpager portal, you can see I have a work pod called Windows 365. This work pod contains various different applications in different container formats, including AppV, Cloud Paging, and MSIX. The fact these apps are in containers means they can be rapidly deployed, seamlessly updated in real time, and removed cleanly using Cloudpager. Containers also help avoid application conflicts, and Cloudpager provides modern orchestration of the containers, including the ability to rapidly roll back changes like application updates if needed. There is so much value in modernizing your app delivery with Cloudpager's container management platform, but that is not the agenda for this demo today. So just know in this demo, I have set Cloudpager to dynamically deliver these app containers to my Azure Active Directory group, with that group containing my Windows 365 users, and the only apps that I chose to install in my custom image is my Cloudpager clients. So again, it's a pretty vanilla, lightweight Windows 11 image that's fully patched, and it has my Cloudpager clients installed. But back to the Automai script or process scenario. With my clients installed and the VM patched, I have my robot run a sysprep with shutdown selected, and then it goes back into Azure and performs a capture of the VM and saves this as an image. Finally, when this is ready, the robot uploads this new custom image to Microsoft Endpoint Manager's Windows 365 Custom Images menu and notifies me when the process is complete. My original script for this, as you see, contains 3 PowerShell scripts with a few augmented steps in the browser and RDP session performed by the robot for doing the tasks like connecting to the VM, installing the updates in clients, and etc. For the purpose of this demo, I also created a second longer process that actually goes through opening PowerShell scripts and running them manually just to illustrate what the RPA can do. A PowerShell script running silently in the background doesn't make for a great video, so that's why I took this approach. With all of that said, let's run this process scenario or script and let the robot do its thing. Now I'm going to edit this video pretty heavily to only show highlights, as even though the process is fully automated, it can still take a while to run. Essentially, the robot is performing some tasks and the scripts are automatically doing some tasks for me, but it still takes almost as long as when you're doing it manually yourself. So the robot is now in control, and the only real inclination you get that this is the case, you could see down the bottom right hand corner of the screen that there's this step counter, and you kind of have to take my word for it, but I'm not touching the mouse or the keyboard. A robot is actually running these actions for me. And like I said, for the purpose of demo, rather than just execute the script and having them run silently, I have the robot here actually opening PowerShell ICE and executing the script, and then the robot is going to go ahead and actually do some of these steps within the web browser and user interface. I also put a lot of wait tasks in to give me the luxury of being able to edit the video and narrate over as I see fit. It could be a little difficult to narrate over a video when a robot's actually controlling what's happening on the screen. But at this point, the robot has executed that first script, which spun up the VM in Azure with Windows 11. It authenticated to allow that to happen on my Azure tenant. And then it's waiting until the VM is complete and up and running, and then it will complete the next tasks. Rather than sit through all of the steps as they're being completed by the robot, I'm going to edit it just to show the highlights from here on out. At this point, the robot has navigated to my Azure tenant, and we see that there's this RM-based virtual machine, which is what was created by the robot running that PowerShell script using my ARM template. The robot goes into this RM-based VM within the Azure portal. It opts to download the RDP file, and it logs in using the credentials that I provided in my ARM template. Once within the Windows 11 session here, the robot navigates to the Settings menu. And I ask the robot to look for that Windows Update symbol in the right corner. It clicks on that, and it's going to download any pending patches for this virtual machine. So what I've found is, even though the image in the Azure image gallery available within the Microsoft Endpoint Manager Windows 365 menu is patched every month by Microsoft, every month it seems to also have some pending patches, including for Windows Defender. So personally, I like to have this custom image with all those updates installed, and while I'm updating them anyways for the patches, I install my clients in too. And when the patches are installed, the robot's going to allow the reboot of this VM. And once some time has been allocated to allow for that reboot, the robot's going to then launch back into the RDP file, connect back into the Windows 11 VM that is now fully patched, and it's going to run my PowerShell. So again, for illustration purposes for this demo, I've actually had the robot just execute PowerShell within PowerShell ICE. In reality, in my own automated process, I have a PowerShell script that I contain within a base image zip file that I leave on some cloud storage, and that's downloaded into the VM as part of my automated build process. And then I just execute that PowerShell script within the VM to do my installs. But you'll see, as I show right now, that essentially this PowerShell script that's being run line for line by the robot here is just doing the install of my Cloudpager clients. You will see with the finished product that there's multiple ways to deliver applications to these Windows 365 cloud PCs. I'm going to have some applications like my agents here installed into the custom image. I'm going to have Cloudpager delivering the majority of the applications, but then I might also have Intune or Microsoft Endpoint Manager deliver maybe one or two applications too, just to show you a lot of the different ways of delivering applications and the fact that they all work together. Cloudpager can work side by side with Microsoft Endpoint Manager. At this point, if you have a tool like the awesome BISF tool or maybe one of the optimization tools from possibly Citrix or VMware that you want to run to optimize this Windows 11 machine, you could do that. But for me, I'm going to have the robot just run the sysprep now and put it into the shutdown state so that I can capture this VM into an image. And now with video editing, you can see that the robot's back into my Azure portal. It goes through the steps to capture and create this image, and it's going to allow that to run in the background. Eventually, we can see that this deployment is now complete. That image should be available within the images directory in the Azure portal, and the robot can now proceed and go to Microsoft Endpoint Manager to upload that image for use in Windows 365. And as you can see here, the robot is doing just that. It has gone into the Windows 365 menu under Provisioning within Microsoft Endpoint Manager. It's gone to Custom Images, and it is now going through the steps of adding that image. It's going to give it an image name, give it an image version, select the correct subscription, and then it will be able to find that source image that the robot just created within Azure. And now it's being added. I baked in this one final wait, but you can see in the background here it's saying upload pending, and the last task should be to launch a notification. And that's it. You can see that notification. It's telling me I can click on that and get to my Microsoft Endpoint Manager. And if I do that, it's just going to launch Microsoft Endpoint Manager. So if I'm an admin, it's running in the background. I could then see my pending image uploading. So after about 23 minutes, if I go back into Microsoft Endpoint Manager and Custom Images, I could see that the upload was indeed successful. I could have used an RPA and actually automated this next step, but I've decided to do it manually. I'm going to, as an administrator, go to my Windows 365 and create a new provisioning policy. Creating a provisioning policy is very, very simple. There's a wizard within Endpoint Manager. I'm just going to give it a name. I'm going to call it Win11_ENT for Enterprise, since this is the Enterprise Cloud PC. And I'm also going to put in CI to indicate that this is a custom image, even though it would be pretty obvious. I'll set my description to Windows 11 Enterprise Custom Image. I'm going to go with Azure AD Join. I'm just going to use the Microsoft hosted network, and I'm going to select my region, which for me is West Europe. I'll click Next. Under Image Type, I could choose Gallery Image if I wanted to use one in the Azure Image Gallery, but instead I'm going to select my custom image and choose the custom image that the robot just created. And then click Next. Under Configuration, I'll accept the defaults. And then I'm going to add a group, which could be my Cloud PC users group that I've got there. I'm just going to, in this instance, assign it just to myself because I'm just doing a single desktop for now. So I'm going to assign it to myself here. I'll choose Next. And once I'm happy, I just click Create. And here we could see about 29 minutes or so later, my provisioning policy has completed. That desktop should be provisioned. If I go to my remote desktop client and just refresh the feeds, we could see, there we go, a Cloud PC Enterprise desktop is now available to me. And if I double click to launch this and put in my password once I'm prompted, here we go. I should be launching into my desktop. Now this is Cloud PC, so there's a persistent one-to-one desktop. The first launch could take some time, so I've edited this down. But you could see right away, once I've logged in, I actually see some other applications on my desktop. And as you may remember, these were not included in the custom image that we created or the robot created. But you can see my Cloud Paging Player. That's one of the clients that was installed. These other applications like Camtasia 2020, VMware vSphere, the old FAT client, which is quite a large application, the Foxit PDF creator or editor app, these were delivered dynamically as I logged in. And if I just go to programs and features, you could see there's not many apps in there. There's some of the default ones in the Windows image, and I've got my agents, plus I've got the master packager, which is an awesome product that I've delivered with Microsoft Endpoint Manager. And if I go to the start menu and go to all apps, we could see some of those other applications that featured in the work pod. So you could see things like Mozilla Firefox, for example, which is an MSIX application or an MSIX container. And I can launch this. I could browse to numecent.com, let's say. And this is an awesome containerized Firefox, fully functional. There pretty much instantly once I logged into my new cloud PC and just ready for use. And of course, we didn't just deliver some MSIX containers. I also had some cloud paging containers. We could see those are available via the cloud paging player, but also they've been auto-deployed and they appear on the desktop and in the start menu as you might expect or your users might expect. We could see that cloud paging player reflects that that has been launched and virtualized for this user. And also I've got some other AppV applications in here. So quick example, I've got the small little app Putty, which is delivered with AppV, and I launched that. Works beautifully. All my applications containerized and delivered by Cloudpager, which I can now orchestrate to have seamless application updates, rapid rollbacks if I need them, and just a simple, quick, and modern application orchestration for my desktop as a service users, which also through dynamic deployments gives me the benefits of having a very lightweight image. I get all the benefits of that. And with this automated process, with that lightweight image, it's a very simple automated script that I can run each month to generate a brand new image with my cloud paging clients installed. And I'll be assured that my images are kept fully patched. And when a user has been provisioned a new desktop, those applications are going to come in dynamically and work beautifully and quickly.